Alright. Where were we? 3-1, 3-2, somewhere around there? I like this, I like Latria the best, I think. After thinking about it a little bit overnight, I think I'd say Latria is my favorite level now. Because where most of the levels in this game maintain this sort of realism to it, like grounded in some form of realism, I feel like Latria is a good turning point because it feels tonally out of place with the rest of the game. Because where most of the levels are like physical places that actually seem believable, Latria feels like a fantastical, like, nightmare sequence that where everything just doesn't make any sense. Because the level, you know, when you go up there, the level itself is very strange in its construction. Really steeped in some kind of Lovecraftian horror going on there. Like, it was pretty outlandish to see that the jailers in the first part of the level were mind flayers. An enemy ripped straight from Dungeons and Dragons, but they were very, very based on Lovecraftian horror and stuff like that. Do I need to speak to somebody? Let me see here.
Beware.
He has nothing new to say. I don't think anybody has anything new to say now.
I was what? If only I could.
Yeah. Alright, so everything... Oh, really? I guess I'll give myself some more... Oh, that's why. Whoops. There we go. I think I can probably give myself some more endurance. Yeah, like if I take the ring off, I'll be at 50 something. So if I take the ring... Not that ring off. This ring. So I'm at 47. So I need 27. I need just one more point of endurance. Perfect.
Soul of the mind.
There we go.
Without...
With it, fast roll. Now I have no use for the ring slot, it seems like. So I guess I'll just put Clever Rat Ring on in the moment. We actually didn't even read Clever Rat Ring. There's something... Yeah, there it is. Simple gold ring engraved with the seal of a small animal. Increases attack power when HP is below 30. Held by Lord Rydell, known as Little Alant. There's also the Dull Rat's Ring, which forms a matching set. So this was one of Rydell's rings. It's kind of weird that there is a corpse on the bridge just outside the cathedral that holds this ring. But we'll see when we free Rydell later that his corpse is actually in another cage. So you have no way of knowing just who exactly was holding onto this ring up to that point. Interesting little thing.
I have some. So
He still says, implore you, stay away from him. Guess I'll buy some more arrows. Good stuff, hey. Arkstone of the Demon's Fool Idol, or the Demon Fool's Idol. The church devoted to an idol mimicking the queen gave hope to the prisoners, but the malice behind it will crush their fate solace. Because you'll see, everybody comes up to the chapel in hopes of obtaining salvation, of achieving some kind of forgiveness. Not really sure who or why we're forgiving, or who they're asking for forgiveness from and why they're asking for it. It doesn't seem to be that abundantly clear to the persons that are being, you know, cajoled into the church and then brought up. But from what it looks like, most of the people that are brought up here are immediately turned into monsters or immediately captured and then turned into monsters. Because you'll notice, this is pretty an ominous looking place all of a sudden. A place where no reason seems to exist anymore. Like, we're just up in the middle of the sky. Very nasty looking place. They brought it, those gargoyles from the last fight brought us all the way up here. Above a very tall tower. overlooking everything. And there's like cathedrals, it almost seems like, or maybe mountains. Can't really tell because you look up and there's like this weird structure just over everything. It's like a spider web almost. Almost like something is drawing power from one place and it's being distributed everywhere. Not really sure what the point of this entire structure is. It's one of those things I never really acknowledge when I go through this area. I never really look up, but you'll notice that the place is like dark. It's like nighttime here. It's not that it's the fog that's overtaken everything. It's just that it's dark. There is smoke and stuff everywhere though. And burning sconces everywhere. I won't go down there yet because when we get back, we're going to be walking backwards because that's the nature of the level. It's a loop. And then we see these guys everywhere. Some of them are real and some of them aren't. But you'll notice that flickering eyes. I don't think that's intentional though. Could you come down here? I want to hit you. He always flies over here. His AI makes him fly all the way over here for some reason. We'll get a good look at his face, because, we'll try to anyway. Because I wanted to draw a parallel. His face. Doesn't his face look very familiar to you? It looks very much like the merchant, the former royal's wife down below. Has very similar striations to the sides and whiskers that come back past the ears. Almost like the lady escaped the what could have potentially befallen her had she not escaped, I mean, which was being turned into one of these things. Because you'll notice when you kill one of these things, they drop a soul, specifically a human soul. They don't drop anything else. Unknown soldier soul. So one can easily infer that people that come up here are turned into monsters. For that purpose, we're not really sure why. Up to this point, it's more likely that the old monk, the guy who got, kicked out by his wife for doing questionable things, is doing this because he's testing. He likes experimenting with humans, especially because he's in the process of trying to make something more than a human and more than a demon. Broadsword's really bad, you guys. I really shouldn't be coming down here because I'm going to end up having to drop down anyway. But it's fine. I might accidentally die trying to get an item. Though I might just avoid the item. I don't really think it's... I'm never really sure what I'm trying to do with this run. But I feel like I want to get most, if not all, items. So here's a shard of moonstone and a chunk. Or never mind, that's not the chunk. The chunk's down here. There it is. I like these gargoyles because they seem to have... They know when they're not on land because they'll actively try to fly away if they land somewhere that they can't physically land. It's kind of weird to watch. When you see them try to fall off a ledge, they'll land on the air like as if they're landing on ground, and then they'll fly to reposition themselves somewhere that they know they should be able to stand. Unlike the lightning demons in Dark Souls that have wings, and the moment they fall off a ledge, they just die. Really weird. Alright, so the item I want is down there. I guess I'll try getting it. Gotta be wary about how I walk off though. Because if you fall at the wrong angle, if you like just walk straight off, your character will bounce on the edge. So there we go. And here we get the Rune Sword and Shield. Guess we can read it. Exquisitely crafted golden sword. Its physical attack power is negligible, but it's enhanced with powerful spells and protects its wielder from magic. It's a legendary hero's weapon that forms a matching set with the shield. The shield would say the same thing, I think. Exquisitely crafted gold shield, strongly enhanced with magic. Protects the user from magic attacks. It's a pretty good shield for, you know, deflecting magic and stuff. It's the perfect weapon and shield for this area, or the shield is perfect for this area, because like one enemy. Never mind. There's like one enemy in this area that fires magic. Although I can say the that was weird audio glitch. Do I still have audio? Yeah, the audio just popped. I might have to consider looking into my checking my PS3 out when I'm done streaming. That's kind of worrisome when the audio cuts out for like a second. That was a Flamberge back there. I'm not going to get it. It's not really that important, but we'll kill this guy because he just drops down and tries to get us. That should be some spice or a soul right there. I don't remember what specifically. Guy just sort of like tried to attack me through a wall. There is a guy who's like floating midway up this staircase right here. Like he'll just drop in behind me. Ah, missed the elevator. There's another item on the other side, but it's just a soul. That guy's already lost track of me, so that's pretty good. Alright, so if we stand right here, backstep into this wall, it'll make the guy that's right there. Well, normally it makes him drop, but it didn't. Huh, that's new. And then we'll come up here. So you'll notice these dudes just like standing here with fire in their hands, kind of. They're like casting a spell of some sort that's holding this chain in place. So we gotta stop them from doing whatever devil magic they're doing here. And with it, killing them unleashes all the frames into the game. Back into the game. Like, for some reason, they were just eating the frames. We had to stop them. That's probably what it was in reality. We're actually trying to stop them from causing the frame rate to go to 20. And then over there, you didn't see it earlier because I didn't actually look up. But there is a giant heart just lodged in the middle of that ceiling over there. And the reason it's there is to pump a lot of blood out of somebody's basement. No, seriously though, that heart there is essentially the spawn machine for all demons in this area, really. It spawns the man centipedes. So that when we dislodge the heart after cutting the other chain, that's, where is that chain? Can you actually see it from here? Doesn't look like it. But yeah, the chain is marked. You can actually see it from a distance. It's a big yellow thing just sort of like lighting up the sky. And when you cut the other chain, it'll dislodge that heart and a bunch of man centipedes will come out. Anyway, this is Yurt. Based on the information we received from Yuria and Patches, trusty, reliable Patches, who is the greatest guy in the world, who would never do us any harm. This guy is, no good.
Are you here to fight the demons? If so, then help me escape this place. I am on your side. I have come to face the demons.
He says he's on our side, so I guess I'll trust him. And he's a ghost. I don't trust ghosts, so we're gonna have to do something about that.
Well, what have we here? Do you wish to die so soon? Well, what have we here? Do you wish to die so soon? Why you?
Okay. He, didn't respond. Alright, he's dead. Don't like ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts, you know. But I can't stand ghosts. So he had to go. Anyway, his armor set. Black iron, armor worn by Yurt the Silent Chief. Portion of this complete armor set, which has an extremely high level of adhesion. The black armor robs the wearer of his or her body heat, causing them to shiver and breathe out cold air. So it's trying to make them look kind of like a demon in appearance, I guess. Anyway, we're going to go over here and get this ring. A really useful ring. It's the fragrant ring. It regenerates MP when you wear it. Super useful for anybody who needs MP. There's a lot of other items in this area that I don't really need to get, so I'm probably just going to avoid them. He's trying to hit me. Come out here. There we go. 440. I would have preferred 420, but that's fine. Not even mad. Here we are. Would have put us right behind these dudes. Get a soul. There's another ring down here called the Ring of Disease Resist, but I've already picked up the first one from World 2, so I don't need to get the second ring. You don't want these guys to spit on you. They corrode gear. They're like the only enemy in the game that I know that uses acid spray. In fact, I'm pretty sure... Which is weird, though, because there's another boss in the game called the Dirty Colossus, and you can use its soul to make... I think it's called acid spray in this game, I'm not sure. And you use it mostly to just corrode people's gear. Kind of sad that you can't really... Let me see here, though. Those guys are supposed to drop Mercury Stone. It's an upgrade material for poison weapons. And I'm not sure if Mercury Stone actually tells you its source of origin. Or its origin. I want to say it probably will say it's literally mercury blood that you get from these guys. Let me kill one and see if I can get some. Because what they'll do is after you hit a certain HP threshold on them, their tail falls off. So it's kind of funny to watch them like just wreathe in agony for a couple of minutes. Nothing. Okay. Ah. Come on, guys. What? You're still alive, huh? Get this while I'm here. Lot of spice. Spice is nice. I should have made a note of where I was a moment ago, but I was just a moment ago, I was just down in a very nasty swamp that had a lot of blood in it. That's why I wasn't being poisoned, because the blood, it was literally blood. Literally a blood swamp. Oddly enough, though, the blood comes from this heart. Like I said, the heart is trying to pump a bunch of blood out of somebody's basement because they're trying to hide a murder. I'm joking, but why else would they be pumping a lot of blood out of here? Here's where I was saying, if you jump into this corner right here, there's a guy floating up here that'll just drop. Not really sure why that happens, but it works. Makes it a little bit safer to operate this area up here. And then again, we're back at the top of a tower with another chain magically held in place by a bunch of dudes. They couldn't think of a better way to hold that heart in place other than use a chain. Magic chains that are just... Can't you guys think of like a bolt and like a nut or something? And you'll notice too that that heart is a demon. It has arms and legs. And it's trying to hold itself up. And the chain is the only way that it was able to do that. You see its arms right there. And it broke the pillar trying to hold itself back up. And then down it goes. This kind of makes me think of Bloodborne with the Nightmare of Mensis. And how that one demon, or whatever the hell nightmare thing is supposed to be, that causes buildup for your psyche or whatever, and it makes your head explode if you look at it a little bit too hard. Kind of feel like Bloodborne pulled from this game with that one. A lot of free lotuses. You'll find that the majority of the enemies in this area, the prisoners themselves, drop those. They drop quite a few of them. Gotta be careful here, because that guy will always follow me if I didn't kill him earlier. That's fine. We'll just keep running then. But because I just dislodged that heart, all of those serpent, or the man centipedes that I just released are gonna come out now. Forgot these. Whoops. So there's now one standing here. We can now access the area down below as well. There was like a magic wall just blocking the area down there, which is kind of weird considering the heart fell down there, so that wall should still be there. So it's like, it feels like the wall would have been more obstructed now because of the heart, but no, the wall just magically disappears. Forgot about that guy standing there. I always forget about him. So we'll go here, and now there's a centipede on the left, on the stairs. Kind of sad that the broadsword, while it is pretty beastly in terms of damage, doesn't step forward as far as the longsword does. Like, it knocks the enemy back to the point that you can't do a follow-up. You have to R1, wait a second, then R1. So you'll notice heart is now just lodged in the center there. There's Shard of Mercury Stone. I was wondering when I was gonna get one of those. Also, we found a weapon, the Epi Rapier, and the Golden Mask. A ceremonial rapier with intricate gold designs. It is a weapon favored by those of a masked society who meet in secret to discuss the harnessing of souls. It is imbued with a strong magical flame, which is one reason why these vicious people are so feared. ADA. So, this isn't outrightly spoken about by Yurt, but he is a member of this society. Even among the masked society that seeks to harness the power of souls, only those of a particular high rank may wear it. There's an NPC that we can meet in this game that wears this mask. In fact, since we are now without that, without having to wear the heavy ring, we can now wear the Ring of Avarice always. So now we have permanent soul gain every single time. I'm also considering learning the spell Soul Thirst from Yuria, so that way. The only downside is never mind. It's actually kind of a downside to do that, because that spell uses a lot of spell slots. Anyway, let's check Mercury Stone. A shard of melted poisonous ore. Yeah, it doesn't specify where it comes from, but we can safely infer that this stuff is blood, and it comes from these guys. It's literally liquefied, mercury blood that has been, that's so thick that it's malleable enough to be made into weapons. Because there was a weapon that I picked up at the beginning of 3.1, a mercurial rapier that already was infused with it. So if you wanted to make a mercury weapon, you could easily use the rapier, because the rapier is, it's pretty powerful. Thrusting damage in this game is pretty good. Most damage in this game is really good, really. Like, just overall, the game has a lot of good weapons. So anyway, now that the heart has been dislodged, I should have showed it earlier. But there was a set of stairs over here that was blocked by the heart. But now that the heart is gone, we can ascend. And fight the being that's above here. He's more like, these guys are more like a guard, essentially. They're like security guards, really. They're here to protect the old monk who's up above. That, or at least that's what I think they're here for. And they're a very, very strange creature. Mainly in the lore implications. I'm standing here because it's safer to let this guy walk away and then sneak up behind him and spam R1 or backstab him if you're lucky. Alright. So, I have a pretty powerful weapon. Or quality broadsword +1. And then I also have a compound bow +9. But say you didn't want to fight the boss conventionally, and say you wanted to cheese them with little impunity. Much to the dismay of all your friends, family, loved ones, you know, everybody who ever, you know, had a good opinion of you. Well, then I have the trick for you. You can snipe the boss from here. I'm not gonna do it myself, but I can show you how to do it, because I'm that guy, and you know I kind of like you a lot. So what you can do here is shoot the boss through the fog wall. You can't just do it through the center, because if you do it through the center, that happens. But if you're near the outside right here, just goes right through. And this bow, like I said, is a pretty powerful bow. So if I shot him from here, it does a pretty good amount of damage. And he doesn't respond to it either, because the moment you hit the door, his AI will trigger. So it'll allow him to actually do the things he's supposed to do. But from here, you can just shoot him with a bow. You can kill him before even the first one spawns. I'm not going to do that, though. You already saw me shoot him once, though. So he's already at a disadvantage. But, yeah. You can definitely fight these guys bow only in the fight if you wanted to. Did I get the item that was over there? I feel like I did. Well, anyway. Set up my bar here again. You get a lot of herbs and spices just from walking through this place. Sweet smelling spice which soothes the soul. It's used by royalty as a luxury, and by the magician as a necessity. An old spice with a pungently sweet smell. It's made by mixing various fermented ingredients. Because of its sharp smell and other unsavory brewers, it has been prohibited in some regions. So this stuff is equivalent to beer, I guess. Huh. Let me make sure. I feel like I didn't actually get the item. When you walk up the stairs, you can immediately turn around and actually pick up an item that's up here, but I think I just already got it. Yeah, I did. I'm on autopilot right now, so sometimes I just don't pay attention. Well, anyway, we have ourselves a light weapon. You guess they are highly strong against rotten arrows? I don't know. I've never actually tried poisoning them. The thing about poisoning enemies in this game is that poison isn't as effective as you would think. Like, bleed isn't that effective. Poison isn't that effective. Plague isn't even that effective. Some bosses are just straight up immune to plague. But, you can stack them. At least another weapon with a mercurial weapon fought them and died. Huh. But yeah, you can stack poison and bleed on some enemies. I've definitely seen that happen before. I plagued an enemy and poisoned them at the same time, and it definitely makes a difference when you stack them, but by themselves they're not that inherently powerful. And I'm pretty sure they're not even used for PvE. I'm pretty sure they were only implemented into the game for PvP, just to incite panic in some players. Because, you know, you get Toxic. Toxic is really punishing. On top of depleting your HP the most per second out of all the general illnesses, it also halves your stamina recovery and also halves the effectiveness of healing herbs. So if you're trying to heal yourself while you're plagued, bad idea. You're going to get a really weakened heal as a result. So you first have to... I guess the best way to deal with them is to use Dark Moongrass, because Dark Moongrass will cure the plague and heal you the full at the same time. But unless you're duping, you're not going to have that many, new Moongrass or Dark Moongrass. Anyway, we're going to do this. Pop one of these and get ready to fight. So this guy, you know, he seems normal by himself because there's only one of them. But then you see him do this. You don't want him to do that. You want to cut that tail off. Because that tail will buff him. It's a snake. Sneaky snake. Get out of here. $420 damage, fellas. So yeah, the moment you see them try to buff with their snake, the snake tail, you don't want them to do that. Because they gain a lot of power, they gain a buff. It makes them really dangerous. Can I hit him with an arrow from here? So this guy often will land up here, like this. Oh yeah, his tail also likes to fire lasers. Damn it. There we go. So yeah, that was the man-eaters. And like I said, they're easy to fight if you can get around the fact that there are two of them. My thing about them is that I will always come to them with a maxed out weapon, no matter what, because DPS is the main factor when fighting these guys. Because a lot of bosses just don't have that. I legit think that the man-eaters are probably the most difficult boss for anybody doing this game the first time. Just because of the way that they spawn. If this Demon Souls is literally the first game you've ever played in the Soulsborne series, then I would think that this is probably the hardest fight. But clearly they did this fight in subsequent games, much to the detriment of the game. Because I feel like every single Souls game almost has a fight like this one. Whether it's Dark Souls with the gargoyles, the Belfry gargoyles. Dark Souls 2 with pretty much every single boss fight in that game. You fight very few single fights in that game. You often fight 2 or 3 enemies at a time. Bloodborne has... I guess the Shadows of Yharnam would count as that, but the difference here is that Shadows of Yharnam, they're there automatically at once, and I'd say they're more on par with the Sentinels, the Rune Sentinels from Dark Souls 2. And then Dark Souls 3 also has a lot of double bosses. But I felt Dark Souls 3 was trying to be more shonen anime with the way that they were dealing with their boss fights, trying to make them as epic as humanly possible. So this one I felt like was just good because of how simple it was in its execution. One dude, but then there's a second dude. So anyway, the what I was saying earlier was the man-eaters are supposedly the man-eaters are just like the other monsters in their construction. They're like an amalgamation of a bunch of things, and you'll notice that in the way that their body has conflict with one another. The snake is an individual being separate from the main body, because the snake will actively bite the man-eater in an attempt to buff the man-eater. And you'll notice that because when the snake bites him, the guy cries out in agony and screams bloody murder because it's painful, because his body is at conflict with itself. And it was supposed to I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a representation of the limits that this guy would go to experiment with the idea of mankind ascending demons and other mankind as like a being above them. Because there's also this other bit right here. You'll notice that there's a single corpse right here, but if you pick the item up, it's got 2 souls on it. Just to give you a further nod that the things that you were fighting just a moment ago is an amalgamation of at least 2 dudes. Each of them were. Maybe even more. And I'm pretty sure the spell that you get from them really isn't that much of a spell. I think it's more or less... I'll have to look into it, though. Because I've gotten the spell before, but I never remember what it is. I want to say it's like poison. No, it can't be poison, because you get poison from the Leechmonger. And then here's the guy. It's the guy. The guy who's caused the source of trouble for this entire region. Though he's now, he's literally a corpse being puppeted by a demon. That yellow frock that he's wearing is actually the demon. Because you'll see it now, he's actually summoning Red Phantom, a Dark Phantom. Because it's what Frake said earlier. He has the power over Dark Souls. Literally, the ability to pull beings from other worlds that are evil and take control of them and use them for his own benefit. Hey, Pinku. And you'll see that with the way that he ensnares this guy. And then he literally... So, not only did he just ensnare that guy, he literally jumped out of that body and went to another one. So that corpse is literally just a corpse. And I remembered somebody in, like, EMB's chat was talking about... Apparently this story, the idea behind this guy is probably based off of a Lovecraftian story of a similar theme. The King in Yellow or something like that. Hey Vise, how you doing? So we're at the very, very tippy top of the tower. And you can see here, he's got a couple of red phantoms guarding him. I mean, this is one, but there's going to be another one in a second. I like the fact that this broadsword bleeds. It's just so off. Because, like, when you play in the other Souls games, you don't have to think about the games in that kind of, or the weapons in that sense. Like, sharp weapon or hard stone weapon. Broadswords are long swords, just like the other, straight swords, just like a long sword would be. Ah. Alright. Old Spice. Spice is nice. Alright, so this is an NPC that, supposed to be a placeholder for actual character players that, you know, originally this was the online boss before the servers got taken down. I mean, there is a private server. I'm trying to think if there's a... Did I have a command for this? But if you guys are interested, you can go to the Demon Souls Reddit, and there'll be a pinned post about the private server if you guys are interested. But anyway, this guy's kind of broken. Like, he's a really strange NPC. He moves faster than conventional players can when they're walking. He's also pretty resistant to magic. He was also guarding. I don't know what he was guarding with. He uses the claws, obviously, but he also has the insanity catalyst. Oh no, I'm bleeding. Whatever will I do? Don't want to get hit with that spell. And he's dead. And just like that, he's dead. But yeah, he had an insanity catalyst. He usually has it on him when you enter the room. He has it like in his hand for some reason. He can't do anything with it though. He doesn't actually cast anything. All right, let me cure my bleed, because that dubstep noise is getting weird. But yeah, so this is a very striking place. Never really understood what the meaning of this room is. It almost feels like this is supposed, you know, because Latria at some point was supposed to be the society of very high learning. So I had every reason to believe that this could be very well like something akin to a church, because there's all these very ornate looking wooden chairs in this room, and they're all just stacked really, really high up to an altar that has multiple seats. There's a center seat, and there's 4 seats on the outskirts of it. And it also has like a very nice altar piece right behind the main seat. Like something definitely akin to like a cathedral or a church. And there's like a very fancy inlay all over it. Actually, let me use my bow. My bow would be better at looking at finer details, because that way I can just like look up and down and then walk back and forward without having to think about it. Too bad a lot of it's out of focus most of the time. How would you even get up there without killing yourself? Oh, that's because the guy didn't have to move. The old monk, he didn't have to physically move because his body was essentially just a husk at that point. I don't know what he looked like when he came back and enslaved the entirety of Latria, but by the time we get to him, he's literally just a husk that's being controlled by that demon that was the yellow fabric, because the yellow fabric was really the whole culprit of the thing. Kind of makes me think of Alphonse Mucha. These weird ornate patterns kind of evokes a lot of biblical imagery. And then, like I said, there's 4 chairs on the outskirts and 1 center chair. That would have been where the queen would have probably sat. There's a lot of artwork too in the room that's been defaced. You'll notice that when you look at it. A lot of the artwork is supposed to have a face, but you look at it and you see the faces have been removed. Almost like somebody was trying to remove the history of this place. Almost like the old monk came back and defaced everything, or somebody on his behest. Like, you look at this one, it's clearly been defaced. It's been destroyed. So it looks very much like, well, this is a repeat of the other one. So a couple of the paintings actually just repeat. Yeah. But you'll see that a lot of the paintings that were in here probably were of somebody of high rank or esteem, and they were just defaced just to remove the history of the place. Because, you know, the story was the old monk was the former queen's husband, but apparently he was doing some very unsavory things behind her back. She caught wind of it and had him expelled from Latria. But then he came back one day with demons, just like a parallel to King Allant in some regard, but King Allant stumbled upon the old one by himself. He didn't actually go on a journey to find demons. I think demons just sort of found him. But then again, I think the old one is supposed to essentially be the tree of life that's been tormented or corrupted into a big giant monster that's something akin to a god. So much. There was a WWE match and people threw chairs at the ring. Oh shit. And I guess the old monk would have been something like John Cena or something. It's interesting too that there's a bit of Arkstone. So the Arkstones were entrusted to the 5 original like deities or kings of those realms. And they just sort of like show up in random places all over the place because they all connect back here. Like a ley line to hold the old one in place. But I think if you look at these stones, you can't actually tell where the Arkstone ends and begins. Like the material itself that allows you to teleport. Like you look at the center bits, and it's the part that lights up the first. Like it's a fluorescent piece of rock. But you can't tell for sure what you're interacting with is that rock or just the entire stone. Oh yeah, and because I've killed 3 Archdemons, Yellow King can't see me. And then like you see him, you see the painting that has a face missing. You see him just rip it off and put his face in there, and he's like, "Are you sure about that?" Anyway, let's see if anybody has something to say now. He still has nothing to say. Beware the limits of your power. Well, anyway, let's go over here. So we got a couple of spells that we can learn now because of the Man-Eater's souls and the old monk's soul.
Are you certain it would? Are you sure?
You can learn Soul Thirst with his soul from here. This spell gives the user a thirst for souls, taking as many souls as possible. But you see how much MP it requires, right? 200. It requires 200 for one casting in 3 slots. But I imagine if you really wanted souls, that's what it's for, because that's more or less the theme
It is a
for Latria, that the old monk was essentially greedy and wanted a lot of power and a lot of influence, even at the cost of his own humanity.
You have your wits. We were wrong to assume that only demons could do demon work.
Oh, he already told me that. So, what's the spell that you can learn from him? He can't... Oh, he doesn't actually... Yeah, there it is. The Homing Soul Arrow. The old man was nothing but more than a medium for the robes that drives men mad. The spell reflects the old man's nature to yearn for the power that was not his. So that was just further solidifying my thought that he was just a vessel for the demon to use. The demon didn't really care. And then what else? I don't think you can actually use the Man-Eater's soul for anything other than the Needle of Eternal Agony. So let me look up the Needle of Eternal Agony real quick. Because, well, frankly, that is a useless weapon in the game, bar none. The only thing you would probably want to use it for is the cheap gimmick it gives you. It gives you like 20 souls every time you use it. Something obscure and minuscule like that. 20 souls, yeah. This weapon will award you 20 souls every time you hit an opponent. A large curved needle with barbed stingers. This weapon was forged from the soul of the demon Man-Eater. It stabs its target, hooks into the flesh, and slowly grinds away at the soul. Could it symbolize the relationship between the host and the snake within the Man-Eater? Because it's talking about the dual nature of the Man-Eater's very existence. Because it's essentially created by 2 beings being fused against their will together. So it sort of represents that chaotic nature of the snake. Huh. Still a useless weapon, though. Anyway. Back to what I was doing. So, we're not going to take any of the, we're not going to use any of these souls for the magic and stuff. I mean, the stuff is useful in multiple situations. But for my run, I'm not going to be using it. I'm like one of those gooder Dark Souls players you guys kind of hear about a lot. Not really. Somebody can call me out on that. I suck at Dark Souls 2. But that's because I don't like Dark Souls 2. Pop a bunch of souls, give ourselves a lot of stats. Because it's fun to level up in a game that prioritizes leveling up. Alright, and we can also dump a bunch of stuff at the box. Oh yeah, I forgot. I picked up the moon sword. This was in the boss room with the man-eaters. Just another weapon that you can get for free that you can upgrade pretty quickly without issue. In fact, I might just upgrade it just for the hell of it. Oh, I can't. Right. I can only do that with Ed. I don't feel like going to Ed. Kind of a long way. So that'll be there. Rune sword, epi rapier, rune shield, gloom armor. There is a quest line associated to Yurt that after you kill Yurt, a new quest line can become available, but only if you kill several NPCs and make your character tendency. Yeah, he does upgrade the best weapons. Like the most Baldwin can upgrade is quality, hardstone, and sharpstone. I don't think he can upgrade anything else. He can't do crushing or any of the other specialized ones that allow like magic or fire damage or faith, that kind of stuff. He just doesn't touch any of them for some reason. And that's because, you know, Ed's a badass. Anyway, let's level up. I can level up about 6 or 7 times. I guess I'll start upping my magic stats so I can actually get more power out of my my spell. Alright.
Hello,
Thomas, do you have any new dialogue?
If only I could.
Nope.
Yeah.
I can never remember what the breaking points are for NPCs to have new dialogue.
Oh, Saint Urbane. Bassa.
Bassa.
Do you have... We must defeat and
Weird that nobody
But you
seems to
must
have
re-
anything new. I'm pretty sure Urbane and his cohorts will have new things when I go to the Valley of Defilement. Because the Valley of Defilement is very thematically appropriate for them. Because this is the kind of place that pilgrimage, people will go on pilgrimage to this place. Just to, what's the word? Offer relief and show compassion to the people that live here. Because the lady that they mentioned at the very beginning of the game, Maiden Estrella and her knight Garl Vinland, actually came to this place. But you never really hear about it from anybody outside until later. Let me actually make sure, because I want to say the dude over here by himself actually mentions Maiden Estrella.
Do you have any connect? I trust not. I hope that now. By the way, I highly.
Nope. Okay, so I think I actually have to go to the level and clear the first boss to actually get him to start talking. So, Valley of Defilement. This damp valley is the resting place of those who have been thrown away. Overtaken by poison and plague, the dwellers attack anyone who wanders into the valley, hoping to offer souls to the woman who showed compassion. So, yeah, the people here do not like outsiders, and they will actually kill outsiders just so that they could steal the souls from those dead people and offer them to their saint. They haven't actually said who specifically the saint is yet, but we all know it's Maiden Estrella. And her husband, Garlic Vinegar. He sounds like a Dragon Ball Z character when I call him that, but I think it's funnier that way. So we'll get royal lotuses, the kind of lotuses that you would only find in Latria. But for some reason they grow in abundance. This is actually the source of where those blossoms actually grow. They actually grow in the Valley of Defilement. And then, yeah, the first depraved guy that we actually see. He's kind of, you know, troll-like in his appearance. If you look at his face really closely, you'll notice that his facial proportions are just crazy out of whack. Like his nose is super huge. He looks sort of like Alec Baldwin did in that movie Beetlejuice. That one time. Anyway, we're just gonna roll past that guy and drop over here and wait for this guy to get up and just kill him so he doesn't get me. But yeah, so far you'll notice that this place is literally just built on thrown away pieces of wood and refuse and stuff like that. Place is very, very perilous. Very perilous. Kick this down. Don't lock onto him, please. Talisman and a couple of Widow's Lotuses. They actually reminded me that I need to get my hotbar in ready. Put a firebomb. Let me use soul remains, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Whoops. Hey, get out of the way. There we go. Alright. A lot of these dudes everywhere. You'll also notice a lot of just dead things everywhere. And it almost looks like they were feasting on them, the way that they're positioned like this. Like dead dogs everywhere. Dead rats. A lot of just thrown away corpses and stuff like that are just piling up everywhere. Oh, I didn't mean to heal. That's fine. You keep going down here, you'll come across a couple of dudes just sort of lying here. Now I think there's a couple of items that were back up there that we need to get down to, so... Like a couple of grass, really. It's not really that big a deal, but... Yeah, there it is. Some grass. Very, very careful with this ledge right here. Sometimes your character will just slide right off. Did it in my last couple of runs. And now, because of this, we have one way to go but down. More grass. Perfect. Oh, yeah, and there's also a mechanic that I didn't mention. It's a mechanic that nobody really knew about thoroughly until very, very recently, because I asked the right question on Reddit, apparently. So, it's a mechanic that deals with the nature of the valley and how everything falls into it. So what we'll do here is after we kill this guy, we need to throw his corpse off. So long as the game recognizes that the corpse fell into the valley below, we're golden. Also, that was pretty cool, I have to say. I was expecting death, but I didn't die. I fell right on the gangplank. So that works out for me pretty well. But anyway, we need to throw corpses, a lot of corpses, into the valley below. We need at least 10. Doesn't seem to matter. There's like a thing that sometimes the body will just despawn and fall into the valley anyway. So what we'll do is we'll just throw the corpses like this through the wall. So that way it'll count. Because all it has to do is detect that an enemy is falling off a ledge. Doesn't matter. It only matters if the enemy type is depraved ones or the giant ones. It has to be one of them. It can't be like a tick or something like that. Though there is an item for the tick. Yeah, it has to be 10. Because there are the 10 items that spawn in the boss room. They are related specifically to the mob that falls down there. So you can't use the same mob to spawn the same item twice. You can't just like reload the level and kill the same group over and over again. You have to kill 10 unique enemies. And the items that drop aren't even that useful per se. They're like just grass. But there's also I was gonna say, there's also a Great Club, Faint Stone and Shards, and Faint Stone Chunk. So they're those are pretty useful items if you're doing Blessed gear. Anyway, let's continue. Off you go. This is like the safest place I can think of to throw them off. Yeah, it's Sewage Fall. You essentially throw them off just like this. And because of the way that I'm doing it, items will now spawn in the boss room. And like I said, it has to be 10. Shards of Faint Stone. And this is like the perfect area to do it. Get. Go. Thanks. Very skeptical of doing it because out of fear of accidentally throwing myself off of the corpse. It's not an assumption. It's already been tested and proven by a data miner. I'm the one who asked the question and I'm the one who came up with the idea, but the data miner actually physically proved it with looking at the game's data. So I'm not making shit up when I'm talking. Alright, walk a little forward and throw a firebomb. These guys are the ones that they said that gnaw on the Shard of Arkstone. So it's kind of neat that you actually find rats in one level. And you actually find Shards of Arkstone in their gut. And then there's a lady. Ms. Lady. You gotta climb up here, though. Because I went down the other way, I have to come back up to get some items. Marrow Stones. These guys and mosquitoes are like the only source for Marrow Stone. But you can find a pure Marrow Stone in Astrea's boss room. I don't think... Yeah, there's actually still some items over here, so let me go get them. So that's all the items over here. Now there's one set of armor that's back over here that I have to get. I don't think I've killed enough enemies anyway, so I need to kill I need to throw a couple more off. But there's several enemies leading up to the boss room anyway, so there we go. I think I've only gotten like 8, maybe 9. I'm always scared of this area because that guy right here is a bait. The moment you approach this item over here, he wakes up. And he's generally prone to push. He likes pushing. So the faster I can get away from this ledge, the better. So we just picked up Saint robes. These are the robes that Urbane wears. Visiting Scenic Valley of Defilement. But is there a limit to the mobs you can drop? 10. That's the most drops that are available in that boss room. In fact, let me do this real quick. I'll give you the link so you'll know what items actually spawn as a result of the drops. The answer you're looking for is the one from Illusory Wall. But here's the Reddit thread. And yeah, Illusory Wall is a guy known for data mining in this game. But he asked for help from another fellow named Gibbed. That's also the guy responsible for making debug very easily accessible to anybody who is willing to soft mod their PS3. I'm not willing to soft mod my PS3 though, out of fear of breaking it though. So we're gonna lure him back over here because it's safer, or not. Okay, I'll just shoot him with a bow. Come over here. Come on. There we go. These guys are known for dropping great clubs and spiked maces, oddly. They don't actually, their club clearly doesn't look like a spiked mace, but they can drop it. Kind of weird by how big they are. I'm always weirded out by how giant they are in comparison to the other dudes. That guy jumped right up. Alright. 3 dudes left. My audio cut again. That was weird. It's only for like a split second, but I notice it. Oh. So we'll throw him down here too, just to be safe. I think I'm almost at. I'm already at 10. Because the items will always spawn in the same order. They always show up in the same order. It doesn't. Just so long as you kill depraved ones and giant depraved ones, you'll get the items. I just realized that I never noticed that this walkway actually moves under my weight. How did I not notice that? Weird. Okay, so they're dead. You hear movement, but that's because there are more of them up above. So anyway, time to fight the boss. Leechmonger's kind of a quirky boss, but he's also kind of a strange boss. Just because of his hitboxes are really strange. They definitely don't look like they're supposed to be where they are, but like his moveset doesn't look like you should be hit when you get hit. Alright, so yeah, you'll notice there's a bunch of items in the boss room now. Let me stand here for a second and buff. And now he's just thrashing about randomly. Why, though? Oh, he got me. Okay. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, it's a delayed leech ball. It acts like poison, essentially, when you get hit by one of these things. It saps your health very slowly. How does he hit me from there? Okay. So this item is always in the boss room. It's a shard. It's a shard of sucker stone. This item just spawns by itself. And then these items, there's the Great Club. That should be the last item on the list that shows up. This should be the last item on the list. So that means I got all 10 items to spawn. And for the most part, the items are only grass and a couple of shards and a chunk of faint stone. So there's the shards. All the crescent moon grass. There's a chunk. Crescent moon grass, that's the biggest drop of it. And then another big drop. And then another drop. So yeah, that's all 10 items that show up in the boss room. Wriggling demon soul. I'm gonna go back to the Nexus because I'm almost over my carry capacity. So this area is below the level. Yes. For some reason, the mechanic is the game detects whether or not one of these enemies has been dropped into the valley. What's weird, though, is that this area of the valley is nowhere near where I was dropping the corpses. But the corpses, I guess thematically, are just going to get swept into the valley down below. So everything just sort of goes right through where the Leechmonger is. Or at least that's the theme. I'm not saying that's actually mechanically how it works, but like in game code, I'm just saying that's probably how the theme of the level is designed. Yeah, that's where everything gets flushed. Everything gets flushed right through that one valley where the Leechmonger is. That's why the Leechmonger is there. It's essentially the result of everything that's been flushed into the valley. At that point, anyway. Because there's a thing that you'll learn about his soul, the soul of the Leechmonger. And so if we go over here real quick, you can learn that the Leechmonger's soul can be used to learn poison. The poison cloud. And it's the same, I think, if you go to the Urbane, the miracle will be something about curing poison or relief.
Are you sure?
I don't think you can learn anything from her with it. Yeah.
If you're ever, it is a dog.
Now let me see. Because I just went to the valley, there should also be some dialogue available from the clerics.
Have you heard the rumors
Yeah, there
about
it is.
Estraya of the Valley of Defilement? They claim that she and her royal knight have become demons and lead a clan of degenerate miscreants. In truth, the rumors are surely unfounded. There are all sorts of wrongdoers down there who would think up such nonsense. Yet if the rumors are true, then may she be eternally damned for her debasement of the Lord's name.
Degenerates. I know, right? They don't really understand the happenstance of how she became a demon.
Yet if
But he clearly does not. He detests demons in all capacity, no matter what kind of justifications you can have. Let me see if Urbane. I think Urbane will say something about it too.
Ah, Astraea of the Valley of Defilement? I'm not sure, but Saint Astraea of the West was accompanied by the knight Garl
The sixth
Vinland.
saint, Estrella. Some kind of title that she
never
holds.
turn to evil with that upstanding knight to guide her.
So there's at least 6
Surely
saints.
it is mere
At least
slander.
6.
Sadly, the weak are prone to such backstabbing.
You better go tell your apostate over there that he's a piece of shit, talking shit about her.
Vito, the Moonlight Knight.
Resiah.
Resiah of Istarel. And
Vito,
Selen Vinland.
Resiah, and Selen. We're gonna
Many
meet them as we
honorable
go there.
knights have
But
ventured
only one
into
that's left
Volataria
alive
in
is
search of
Selen.
the Valley of Defilement. The vicious rumors about Astraea offend our most basic sense of respect for God's name.
For God's name.
However, none of these great knights has made it back. Could it be that the wretched valley is so infested with grime that even our Lord's voice does not resonate there? Or perhaps it is the fate of those left behind by God. Old Frake and the
Old Frake and Candlelight Maiden are no exception. There it is, cure. The miracle is a countersign against the poison and disease that is accumulated in the filthy valley floor.
I said, but you must.
All right, so we'll talk to her. I think
Oh, say,
she just says, Basa. How about you? You knew?
Where?
Nope. Beware. I don't think she'll say anything new.
Are you? If the demon is.
Nope.
Oh,
Oh. Sorry, Yuria waifu.
He has power.
Okay, screen blacked out.
I can
I can still be patient. We're just gonna pop this soul because it's not really useful to me in this run. It's useful. I mean, you can poison things. But it's kind of like you sit there, you'll poison it, and then you just sort of stand off to a side. Like, you can use poison to kill everybody in the Nexus. What you'll do is you just spam the poison at them right next to them, and you'll just run away and hide somewhere, and they won't even know about it. They'll just, like, get up. They'll be aggro to you, obviously. But if you're at a distance, they can't see you, so they can't follow you. Are these chicken legs or bags of gold? I didn't even notice these before. Are these yours these are his bags. Okay. He just sort of like threw his stuff all over the floor here. Check my, Oh, right, I picked up a Morning Star.
No interest.
You can't upgrade wooden clubs in this game for some reason. I guess to stay in the theme of realism, anything made of wood just can't be upgraded. Even though this thing has spikes on it. You see? Enhanced with spikes. So let's deposit all the stuff we picked up. Hey, I got a chunk of marrowstone, alright. Blessed Maces. Again, you can't use this unless you're at Ed's. And then get rid of the Saint Robes. A lot of male gear that you just can't wear because you're a lady.
We are
Or I'm a lady, so I can't really wear it. Yeah, they do aggro if you stand near them. Because I've definitely killed everybody in here with poison and toxic before. For the Mephistopheles questline, I just killed all the NPCs using poison and toxic. With exception to, I mean, obviously the only ones that didn't get killed were them. Because they, for some reason, they just don't have anything to do with the questline. This guy doesn't either, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, you can just poison and toxic them and stand at a distance and they won't see you. And they'll just stand there and die. Archstone of the Demon Leechmonger. The Valley of Defilement leads to the huge swamp into which all the unclean flows, becoming a nest for putrilage, vermin, and plague. So yeah, everything gets nastier here. We were stepping into like muck when we entered the Leechmonger's boss room, but now everything is even nastier. Oh wait, actually, before I continue here, let's go back to World 3. I forgot to do the White World event. Because, we found a ring that was owned by Lord Rydell. Little Allant, as the game calls him as his nickname. So apparently Rydell has something to do with the lineage of the Allant family in Boletaria. But, some reason he was imprisoned. Almost like the king didn't like what something that he was doing. No explanation, really. I don't even think his weapon. I don't think his weapon. I don't think any of his gear would actually tell you why he's imprisoned. But it's most likely he was a dissenter of the throne, and the king just threw him in prison to shut him up, or the demon that's posing as the king threw him in prison to shut him up. Oh, I know. I'm in the wrong place, so I have to go back somewhere else. I need to go to the second level. I forgot about that. I gotta go to 3-2 and pick up a key that only is available in Pure White World. You can't get it in Pure Black World for some reason. Alright. I guess it makes sense considering in Pure Black World, the blue Phantom Rydell doesn't appear. You get a red Phantom instead. And thematically, I guess it's because, you know, the nature of the souls in the area have taken on a sinister tone, so it even affects the phantoms that spawn there normally. So when you hit Pure Black World, blue phantoms become red phantoms. In some instances, though, I know like Selen, for example, is a human. You actually see her as a corporeal flesh in White World, but when you see her in Black World, she's a red phantom. It's probably also just something to make it easier for the player to recognize that they're evil and they're straight up going to try to kill you when you see them. That's probably what I think. That's the most logical reason that I can think why red phantoms or black phantoms are red, just so that you know that red means danger. Get myself set up for the next world. Black means racism. I guess so. The game calls them black... I don't think the game actually refers to them directly as black phantoms, does it? It probably does in, like, the manual. I don't know. I call them Black Phantoms because they are evil. Or when I say evil, I mean they want to flat out just kill me the moment they see me, usually. It's like, anything that tries to kill me is automatically evil. So yeah, that metal plate back there only shows up in pure white. And then we'll come up here and get this very, very special key. Now we can go save Rydell. Which is kind of strange considering he's a ghost. He's literally a ghost. So he could still open a door, but I don't think the game knows exactly what they're trying to do with these phantoms, I guess. Because, you know, like, blue phantoms still have interaction with the world similar to players, but then the red phantoms just aren't recognized by enemies at all when they go through the game. The only thing they have interactions with are the player. I don't think red phantoms can actually kill anything other than the player in blue phantoms. It would be cool if the ladder that's white spawns pure white for the phantoms. What, are you saying that white regular phantoms can't interact with ladders? Is that right? Oh, you're saying the ladder that would spawn in pure white is white. Okay, I get that. I'm having trouble reading words because I'm bad at, reading. Like how the bridge was white. Oh, yeah, I totally can understand that now. Yeah, I can understand. That would definitely be kind of cool. Like the ladder in... You're talking about the ladder in the level 5-1, right? I'm one level above. Whoops. Because that letter is kind of just like... It just appears there, almost like it's supposed to be there. It's kind of weird when I think about it. Alright, now because we have entered here in Pure White World, and that we have the key,
Help me.
we can save Rydell. But there's also a pile of rubble that disappears in Pure White World that's over there. So now we can access the side of the floor. You gonna say anything?
Oh, why, thank you. Thank you, kind soul. Please, take this fine piece of work. Besides, I have no use for it now. And thus begins my final, eternal rest.
How'd you get sealed in here? One of the Mind Flayers get you? So there's a second ring, the Dole Rat ring. It's like the blue tear stone ring from Dark Souls. Simple gold ring engraved with the seal of a small animal. Held by Lord Rydell, known as Lytle Allant. There's also the Dole Rat ring. Oh, wait, here it is. Yeah, it's the same thing. It just says a little bit different on both of them. They both say they're a part of a matching set. And that they're owned by Little Allant, or Lord Rydell. Let's get the three-cornered hat here. It's a pretty stylish looking hat. Traditionally depicted witch's hat actually seems to be worn by the genuine article. Just to let you know that magically inclined people were probably held on this floor just like Rydell. That could have been another thing, that Rydell, because of his magical sensitivities, was probably imprisoned on this floor similar to like Frake. In fact, here's Frake's armor. Speak of the devil. Sage Frake the Visionary's equipment. A plain traveling suit, which makes long marches possible. However, it is the travel wear of a dirty sage. This shows Sage Frake's origins quite well. None of his other gear says anything specific. It just copy-pasted. Even like the brushwood armor set. I thought that was funny. How the brushwood, the main chest piece says that it's the helmet. Because they just didn't think to edit that in an update or something. There's a lot of weird grammatical errors in the game that were just never fixed or addressed. I keep speaking weird sometimes. I have trouble with my mouth, I guess. We'll see this when we get the Estrel as well. Because everybody refers to the owner of the Estrel as Rizaya. But when you pick up the Estrel, it'll say Lizaya. Because of a grammatical error. They just didn't think about it.
No.
Oh, he's got new stuff. So let's see what he has now. New Moongrass. He has a couple of new Moongrass, and he also has white arrows. But only a set amount. He only sells 30 of them. Let's buy them. And then talk.
Did you ever visit Valley of Defilement?
Do you have the set? Yes. I'll show it to you in a minute.
With the corpses of honorable knights, too foolish to stay out of harm's way. Well, you may have heard of some of them. Vito the Moonlight Knight, Rizaya of Isterel, and
yeah, everybody refers to him as Vito. But when you pick up the Moonlight Sword, it's gonna say Vito instead.
Fine armor and weapons.
Because the Japanese B and V are pretty much the exact same sound.
I reckon they... Well...
Alright. So let's go check out the Brushwood armor. Because funny memes. Oh. This old helmet. Yep, there it is. This old helmet. This is clearly not a helmet. Oh, shoot, I forgot. I forgot. There was another floor of items that I need to pick up. While we're at it then, let's buy some shards of Arkstone. Alright, we need to go back, because I forgot there was another floor that we need to unlock. The conditions for unlocking that, maybe it's the metal version of Xanthus robe. How do you figure? The Xanthus robe from Dark Souls doesn't have metal like that. Oh, I went the wrong way. Unless that's some sort of meme and I'm just too old to understand it. I'm not too old, I'm hip. I can get jiggy with it. You kids still listen to Backstreet Boys? The old monk robe? Oh. What? I'm still gonna lean on the fact that it was probably just a wording error that they didn't correct. Because the way that it is worded, every single piece of armor has the exact same thing. But for the first two pieces, they didn't fix the name in the description. They fixed the name in the other pieces. You actually know that you're using greaves and gauntlets. Alright, so that door opens. But when you come up here, this door won't open unless you've let out Rydell. And it doesn't even give you a prompt or anything. It's just like a magic door that unlocks because you freed him. You can get this item through the cage here, but it's kind of pointless. You can open that one. But it's like the only item in the game that you can actually do that. You gotta run all the way to the other end of the room to get the item to unlock the rest of the doors. We still think it was from the Metal King. Well, Xanthus means yellow, so I don't really know how it would be a piece of metal similar to his. Like the armor said, the brushwood said it was actually from the Yolant family. But for some reason, it was at some point it was bestowed upon Bior and his twin brother Valorfax. Or at least I think Valorfax was his brother. So if we look at this corpse very closely, like I'm trying to, it actually had, this is actually Frake's Rydel's corpse. It's a little different from his normal corpse because it looks more or less like a copy-pasted mob. But you'll know it's him because of the phosphorescent pole broken next to him. And it also has a key for the floor on him. So now we can open the other doors. Just had to run back. I'm pretty sure most of the items in this area are kind of not that useful. Except for like the chunks of mercury stone and stuff. There's a lot of chunks and like shards up here that you can use to upgrade your poison weapons. There's also a set of armor. The rogue's clothing. This is the other piece of armor from that one NPC that you can interact with if you kill a bunch of NPCs. That's where he is if you don't kill him. Yeah, his corpse appears there because the joke or the thing here is that he's been like he's been removed from his corporeal flesh. Because it's a similar phenomenon with the player character, and that when you collect your bloodstain, you're essentially retrieving your corpse. So you essentially become one with your body again. And what happened to him is that he got separated from his body the same way. And when he tried to get back to his body, it looks like he got locked in the cage by one of the mind flayers. The same thing happened with the Crestfallen Warrior. He doesn't know where his actual body is, so he's sitting in the Nexus as a ghost. He's supposed to, I think, just be an analog for players who can't do what who can't stand the stress of the game and just sit there and cower in their own fear and helplessness. Because if I spoke to him anymore, he'd start forgetting who he was, and eventually he'll fade away and leave behind a soul for me to collect. So anyway, Rogue's Clothes, a luxurious vest of smooth black cloth, woven with a gold thread. Equipment of a masked society who meet in secret to discuss the harnessing of souls. Their clandestine affairs are largely unknown. Yurt would have been a member of this group that we had interacted with him earlier, but we killed him because he was a ghost. Couple of more items to get. Kind of creepy as some of these guys are just like clawing at the wall. I think they were all slowly dying based on some of the items I'm picking up. Like, some of them had gotten poisoned. Because I just picked a chunk of mercury stone off of that guy. Almost like he was poisoned and slowly being turned into a monster, but I could be wrong. I think I may be reading a little bit too much into that. Alright, now we can leave. Because I got all the items. It's 5:15. I may end up having to leave again to get food. But I'll be back even later after that just to get the rest of the playthrough done. Parrying dagger.
Hello again.
If only I...
Seeing if he had something else to say, but I guess not. Rogue clothes. How does this look? They look pretty fly, I gotta tell you. The only way to get them is the pure white world, unfortunately. But yeah, they're the set Mephistopheles wears. Three-cornered hat. Looks pretty fly. The rogue pants look kind of out of place, though. I don't really like the way that they bunch up at the knees.
Yeah.
You have a heart of gold.
Don't let them take it from you.
Now that I think about it, I never really take a look at the Nexus to see what any of this stuff means. But as far as I can tell, it's like all these symbols are so displaced from reality that you really have no way of knowing what any of these mean. Though I think they probably used a bunch of foreign characters just to give them the sense of foreboding and like alienation. Because like you'll look at it and you won't even know what it is. And there's probably no intrinsic meaning behind them based on what I think. That's just me, my opinion, that I think most of this stuff has no meaning, and if you asked one of the developers what it meant, they probably can't give you an answer. Game's like 9 years old. I'm pretty sure if there was a meaning, the meaning's been lost. Oh, now that I think about it, we can take a look at the statue in the center of the room real quick. One of those things that I never really openly look at until the cutscene that reveals the old one. But it's a statue that's hanging upside down. Person just hanging upside down. That's how the statue is created. And there's a person that's like right side up above it. So it's like a mirror image of a person from bottom to top. You can't really see the face of the person up there, though, unfortunately. But you can definitely see that person right there. And it's a motif very similar to the railings up top as well, near the monumentals. You'll see them hanging from the ceiling. Like several pieces of the decoration in this place mirror the center statue. Anyway, we're gonna go back to World 5 then. Already read that one, so we'll just head right in. Alright. So, yeah, you'll notice that a lot of the sludge from the Leechmonger boss fight just continues seeping out from here. And just keeps following this crevice until it opens out into this very large valley. Hence the name of the area. It's very ominous, to say the least. You can't see anything with exception to lamps and corpses. But you can look on the ground here and you'll find a lot of dead animals as well. And a couple of closed bags. I think that's a bag. It may just be another dead animal. You can't tell exactly what this thing here is supposed to be, but everything else looks more or less like the remains of a dead animal. And a couple of dead dudes. I remembered somebody making a lore video about explaining that one of this thing right here was probably a sealed sack that had an aborted child in it. But there's not enough information for me to say that. I'm just giving you the information somebody else says. But most of my theories are that you're not gonna, you won't see any aborted children's corpses in this area. Because historically, From Software is nowhere near that on the head. Like, they'll only show it in like very, very limited capacities. Like, obviously in Nito's room and then in Estrella's room. You will only see them in there. But other than that, you're not going to see dead babies just sitting about everywhere. I feel like that would be kind of in bad taste. And while it would fit thematically with the world, I felt like it would be in bad taste. But maybe I'll be wrong and there would be a dead baby somewhere in here. Somewhere before the boss room, anyway. There's a red phantom that that patrols the muck around here. But I shouldn't have to worry about her, I think, because when you wear the Thief's Ring, she can't see you that well. So that's why I wear the Thief's Ring. Got the War Scythe. This should be Shard of Suckerstone. There'll be some grass over here. When you're poisoned, you don't want to heal immediately because when you are poisoned, you lose the effectiveness of your healing by half. So you want to be sure that when you're not you unpoison yourself and then heal. That way, you get the effectiveness. Alright, so the Phantom usually walks in like a straight line back and forth between a couple of the islands. But I didn't see her immediately. There she is. She's all the way over there walking towards me, I think. Yeah, she's walking the other way. Never mind. That was the cat ring I just picked up. And here's a pure Suckerstone. Several of these throughout the game that you can pick up for free. And a couple of chunks. She'll walk back over here too, if I remember correctly. In fact, I just walked past Black Turpentine. Let me do this real quick. There we go. There we go. Black Turpentine. It's a better version of regular Turpentine. Does more damage per second, but it only lasts for 30 seconds rather than the 60 seconds regular Turpentine lasts. So there's trade-off, clearly. And then we walk over on this side. That way we can just get away from him. There's a couple of items over there that I usually never get. But there'll be definitely more weapons that I can pick up later. We'll roll off here. There's a couple of items up there, but again, they're useless items. One of them's a soul, and that's about it. Another Thief's Ring. If you never get the Thief's Ring from 1-1, that's the Thief's Ring that you can pick up. You'll also notice when you're going through this muck that sometimes, even when you're not standing in the muck, the game still thinks you are. So sometimes you gotta be a little bit wary. Like you may be thinking, hey, I'm not poisoned anymore. And then you stand right next to the muck on open land and the game still thinks you're in the muck. Alright, so we're no longer in the muck for now. We'll start heading towards some slugs. Because we're about to find one of the missing heroes that several of the NPCs in the game were talking about. In fact, while I'm at it, let us put on the Herculanean Strength Ring, so that way we won't have to worry about running out of inventory space when we collect a bunch of stuff. Because we're going to come over here. I'm not going over that island right there. That island is literally a big troll island. But we're going to kill this slug here because it has a set of armor in its gut. But if we use the bow, you'll notice the outline of a couple of monsters over there. In fact, one of them, they actually breathe. You can actually see their breath. That's not creepy in the slightest. Their breathing is so... The air in here is so acrid and toxic. You actually see their breath in the air there. And those three items over there are just stones of ephemeral eyes. But they're guarded by trolls, so you don't really... I don't think they're ever worth getting. A lot of stuff's worth getting in the game, but I don't think those items are worth. Alright, we're going to go back over here. These guys are like #1 source of Suckerstone. And if I took the wooden path like earlier, you would have dropped right... Not right here, I think. I think you would have dropped over from somewhere else. This is actually the way out from over here. And you're going to see that when I come down here in a minute. Because there's going to be a lot of slugs by the time I'm through. They're kind of similar to the ones in World 4 also, because of the way that you see them. How was dinner with Dad yesterday? Pretty good. Where did we go? We went to this fish place that's near our house. It's pretty good. Fried fish, fried shrimp, stuff like that. So I'm going to throw a soul remain. Oh, they didn't even notice it. Now they did. Shit. They get poisoned, do they? No, they wouldn't get poisoned. Why would they get poisoned? They get bleed, but they don't poison. It's safer to kill them now and then come back later. Because I'm going to have to run through here again anyway. That was this guy's what is his name? Not a witch doctor. He looks like regular depraved ones, but he's not. He spews magic everywhere. He's a shaman, that's his name. Or that's his enemy type. He has like this weird purple aura all about him, and he can spew poison on command. Alright, so mosquitoes galore. I'm going to use my bow to deal with these dudes. Because these guys block the path up ahead. These mosquitoes are also annoying. Because they also block you about as effectively as the snails, as the slugs do. So I generally kill them also. Got to be very careful though, because when you lock onto an enemy, sometimes your bow will just not hit them at the wrong angle. Like if I'm downwind of an enemy on these planks, sometimes the arrow will just hit the plank in front of the enemy instead. Plus you also have to worry about accidentally rolling off ledges. Hell, I can actually use yeah, I can actually probably use the cat ring. We'll use the cat ring for the moment. I don't think the cat ring will actually prevent me from dying, but we can try it. I think I'm too high up for the ring to actually be effective anymore. Do they respawn like in Dark Souls 1? Well, the ones in Dark Souls 1 actually respawn more than these. These guys don't actually come back from what it looks like. I think they have specific spawn spots that prevent them from respawning. But I know the ones in Dark Souls actually don't respawn after you kill them enough. They eventually stop spawning. But it's like you gotta kill them a lot just to get them to go away. So there's a legendary soul. Well, you'll notice these guys right here just like in a ball or around an object. So what we want to do is stand here on this ledge. It's the safest to deal with this, and just attack it a bunch. And they'll fall eventually. There we go. While I'm at it, let's unequip those. Put on the black turpentine. Heal a bit. And we're going to drop down to the ledges below, because this is the fastest way to get back down. And here's another soldier or hero soul. And then there's the ledge that I was talking about. You just sort of like slide down from here. And around the sword, 20 billion slugs. You never thought about using it? You've picked it up a million times though? It's a good weapon. Mainly because it ignores shields. It'll go right through a shield. It's not a physical weapon. It's an actual, literal magical weapon. It looks like it's physical because of its nature, but it's not. But let's pick it up. You're still alive. I thought you were a corpse. Whoops. Alright, let's get out of here. Pop one of these. Heal a bit. And switch out our cat ring for the Herculaneum strength ring. And we'll read the sword real quick. Legendary sword that reflects moonlight. Widely known in association with Moonlight Knight Beto. See, everybody else was referring to him as Vito, but here's Beto. It's one of the few revelations from God. The blue crystal blade is composed only of light, so it's impossible to block with a shield. This is the only version of the sword that actually scales with faith. You only need faith to use it, too. 24 faith, and it's good as yours. And you can use the demon, colorless demon souls to upgrade it. I left those guys over there all dead because they just drop sucker stun anyway, so it's kind of pointless for me to continue picking it up. Alright, so we got everybody dead here. Make our way back over through the village. And if you walk forward a bit, we'll meet our lady friend again. The filthy lady, or the filthy woman.
Won't you buy something?
I forgot to talk to her in the last level. But yeah, she talks about something, my boy is hungry. There's actually a boy that was supposed to be her son in the game, but they just sort of like removed him. Probably because of the nature of the world being so dire and dark. They didn't want to have a child like that in these games. I've noticed from experience that every single Souls game at some point is supposed to have a child in it. But for some reason they remove them before the game's even finished.
This place is a proper mound of rubbish. All the rot of the world, living or not, ends up here. I thank the stars that I still have my boy.
She kind of reminds me of the Crestfallen Merchant. Not the Crestfallen Merchant, but the Undead Merchant in Dark Souls. How they refer to somebody. Yeah, that's probably the right one. Children can't be in M-rated games. This game is indeed rated M.
Ever since that demon witch came here, everything has turned foul.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This was a much better place
that
before
does
she
indeed
came.
pose a different question.
I was
Then,
the apple of
then why is
everyone's eye.
I forgot about the kids
You're
in that
here to
game.
rid us of it, aren't you?
The
Well,
music box girl
don't
that was
show any mercy.
Gascoigne's daughter.
I thank this.
All right. So she sells stuff, mostly stuff at an exorbitant amount of money. You see, she sells everything at a higher price than you would find it normally. She sells chainmail too, as well as the Mirrodin armor. She's locked in a house. No, you'll find her dead body next to a pig. Or not near the pig. I think it's like you find her dead body. Her sister's body. You'll find her sister's body at the bottom of a ladder. Like she fell from a ladder when she was trying to look for her sister. Or something like that. I don't remember the entire things. But you will find a dead kid's body in one of the levels. After certain conditions have been met. Alright, so I could, run through the city and be cool. And kill everything on the way. But I think it's safer if I just go around the outskirts of the city. But, you know what? Let's just go through the city. Because you'll notice that the city is kind of literally teeming with these dudes. Dang, I was trying to get away. I even saw him. Yeah, but this place is teeming with these guys. Because it's literally a metropolis of rubbish. Get this. Free Widow's Lotuses. Yeah, my stream title is indeed a dig at EMB. I wouldn't have said anything about it if he immediately made me look like I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm EMB. I'm a guy who streams Demon Souls once a year. Hi EMB, I'm Uso. I stream Demon Souls once a week. Let me talk to you about something called lore. Of course, I don't exactly have numbers like EMB, so of course his opinion is probably more important than mine. Oh, where'd you come from? Oh, he was sitting on the ground. Whoops. I didn't see him there. I casually just started stabbing him in the face. Oh, wait, is there a thing back here? Yeah, there's items back there, but let me see how to... The problem is that I've been in this area so many times, I still don't know how to get through everything, because this area is just built like a maze. I think you gotta run across the tops of these buildings here to get to those items up there. Why did I pick soldier, though? I used spear. You've never properly used broadsword. Yeah, broadsword was like one of the first weapons that I used. So I could tell you immediately if you upgrade the weapon, it's good. I still thought it was funny that he ran into a boss fight where using an underpowered weapon, almost unupgraded weapon, and then complains when the boss, you know, bodies him. He wasn't even using any buffs. I guess he thought he was one of those gooder Dark Souls players. What? The boss isn't bending over for me? Why is that? I'm not being petty. I'm not being petty, you know? No time to be petty, really. Tom Petty, maybe. Rip Tom Petty, unfortunately. I liked his music. Oh, this was the normal way? Lot of good items in this area. You just gotta know where to look. There's actually a couple of items that I didn't know about until I was well into playing this game a lot more. So I'll go get those too, definitely. It also sounds like these guys are speaking English, actually, which is kind of neat. Because for the most part, it just sounds like they're making incoherent wailing noises. But from what it looks like, they actually say, "Oh my god." You always thought it was interesting to see people struggle with the armored spider. Yeah. When you do no-death runs, you kind of have to learn how to optimize things really quickly. That's more or less why I was doing no-death runs. Because I felt like this game is really good. And by doing a no-death run, you essentially say to the developer, you learned you learned more or less how to get through the game in a way that was successful and intuitive to the player. Shoot! I missed it. There it is. Okay, let's get back up here. There are a couple of these ledges that you can just sort of like walk up on. And a couple of items you can't get to without dropping down like this. Those should be arrows over there. I'm just trying to remember the quickest way to get to them. He made the noise, but he didn't actually do it. Also, it's kind of weird that he actually tries to run away from me. I think he's trying to do more poison. But, like, even without it. Can you get behind armor spider? Is that just with a glitch? Yeah, that's mostly with a glitch. When you're doing, like, the 80% routing, people will usually go out of bounds around that area. And if they did it right, they'll just skip the boss room completely. But if they did it less optimally, they'll end up behind the boss instead. Because what they're doing there is they're abusing the way the arc stones work. Because all you have to do is walk past an arc stone for the game to automatically send you to that arc stone the next time you die. And they're essentially doing a quit out glitch so that the game will automatically send them to that arc stone when they die. Or past it, really. Because, like, for some reason, if they do it right, they'll spawn outside of the boss room while the boss is still active. I've never been able to do it myself. I've done it where I ended up behind the boss instead. I think it's just a matter of spacing, really. Spacing, huh? Papa spacing. Yeah, you need to go out of bounds. There's a very easy strat for going out of bounds in Demon Souls. Oh shit, I did it again. I thought that was where I could roll. Hold on a second. Get out of the muck. Get out of the muck. There we go. The thing about poison in this game is that it doesn't work like Dark Souls. There's no meter because there's no buildup. Like, and not only that, you can't preemptively prevent the buildup or prevent the poisoning from proccing. You can't just like take a Royal Lotus preemptively to make it reset. You'll just get poisoned regardless. I'll get these then. So there's a couple of things that I never noticed when I was going through here. Like this giant building right here. This is like the biggest thing in this area. It's like this big wooden encampment. And you can climb up the side of it and go in here and find items and a couple of dudes. It's impressive just how complex this area got as you get further into the swamp. A couple of shards, and then there's another chunk that's back here. Chunk of faint stone, and that's a phone call. So give me a second. Just a moment, I got a phone call. Okay, we're gonna go to kill the boss really quick. Change of plans, I gotta go to the boss real quick, so that way I don't leave the stream just like lingering. So we can just drop right here. There's the boss's boss fog. So this boss is the Dirty Colossus. He's essentially a big towering abomination that pretty much represents the nastiest, most natural evil that exists in the world. Because, you know, it's the Valley of Defilement. Literally everything of abandoned and unwanted ends up in this valley. And so as you saw earlier near the Leechmonger, everything from the Leechmonger feeds into this valley, which in turn leads into an even lesser valley that's down below this valley. Yeah, that's exactly. It's a build-up. I guess that is the best word for it. It builds up just like the other one, but you can't prevent it from proccing. It'll just proc. So once it procs, you have to immediately cure the poison. Otherwise, you know, like I said earlier, healing items, their effectiveness is halved. So anyway, we're going to fight the Dirty Colossus real quick, and then I'm going to have to cut the stream. Fire is your best friend for this fight. What's also interesting is that he doesn't have a cutscene. He's like one of the few bosses in the game that gets a cutscene. He also shoots bees at you. I say bees, but they're more like flies. You don't want to hit his midsection either. He also blows up with bees. It's like the dogs have the bees in their mouth. Shit, I broke the thing that I wasn't supposed to break. Because now he's going to start doing trick shots. He's going to start throwing bees everywhere. You want to stay in his left armpit. Because that way you don't break his armor. Because when he breaks his armor, that happens. He starts shooting bees everywhere. Hit that real quick. There we go. Get the bees off. The bees do a similar effect to poison. Whoops, I forgot to put the ring on. That's fine. Alright, there's a couple of items here we can get. Get that. This is the same kind of marsh as it was out there. Still very poisonous. Will poison you. Yeah, his limbs break and he releases flies. He's a Bloodborne boss, essentially. He adds another phase. It's like, what? You broke my limbs? Better start shooting the flies. Lord of the Flies. Just be yourself. But anyway, I'm gonna have to cut the stream. So let me see if there's somebody I can host for a couple of hours. Anybody doing dumb